Hey everybody, DGood24 here. Welcome back to the channel, and today's video is going to be a little bit different than my normal racing content, so if that's what you're here for, come back tomorrow, but unless you want to, see something a little different out of me. This is something I'm super passionate about, so if you really care, stick along for the ride. So if you follow me on socials, you will know that this weekend I went to Chicago. I made a 7.5-hour trip up, stayed with a friend, and I saw my favorite YouTuber, Scott the Wozzies, his award show type deal in Chicago at the Vic Theater. And Scott is my favorite YouTuber. I don't use that word lightly. He is amazing. He does mainly Nintendo and video game content and some sketch comedy, and he's really, really funny. And I have watched him for years, and I've seen every video at least twice. They're just videos that I watch whenever I'm a little sad or, looking to just have some background music playing or whatever. I know that a lot of you have a favorite YouTuber, whether that's me, probably not, that's fine, or not. I know how special that can be to you. So for me, I had always wanted to meet him. So when this became available, I'm like, well, of course, I'm going to drive my ass up to Chicago and see it. There was a VIP option available, and I jumped on that as soon as I could, front row. And this video is just going to be talking about my experience. This is not to be braggadocious or humble brag or whatever. I just want to talk about my experience, and if you are a fan of Scott or a fan of my content, just kind of know how my weekend went. And yeah, that's basically what we're going to do today. Probably not too long of a video, but let's jump right into it. So I, on Thursday, hightailed it up to, or was it Friday? It was Friday. I hightailed it up to Chicago. Stayed with my friend, like I said, and then the next day we went to the Field History Museum, had a good time, and then I made my way over to the Vic Theater. Now, the email said that to be there by 4:30, and I got there at just past 4, and there was already a line forming. There's probably 20 people ahead of me. No big deal. And then a lot of people came after. I was unsure of what to wear, so I wore my Ghostbusters shirt, because as you can see behind me, that's like one of my favorite things. And my flight suit back there. Yeah, so anyway, we waited out there till about 4:30, and they let us all in. When we came in, we got this cool Scott the Woz presents the Wozzies 2024 trophy that says VIP on it. So everyone that paid for the VIP meet and greet experience, whatever, got one of these. And that's really cool because they only gave away like 12 awards or so. So the fact that I got one of these is really cool. It's something I'll put on the shelf, and it'll just be a good memory of this week. But there's more where that came from. So anyway, we got let in. They gave us these trophies, and we all waited in a line for about, I don't know, 20 minutes. I would like to say I will not be giving out spoilers for those of you watching on the waiting for the full thing on Scott's Stash. But we stood in line for about 20 minutes, and then they brought out Scott, who was in his his red striped suit and hat. More of a, if you watch him, you understand kind of deal. So anyway, let me set that down. And then one by one, you would hand your camera to the person, and you'd get your couple minutes with him. Sam and Justin were also there. The rest of the crew had their own reasons for not being there. So there was 3 of them. And what I really appreciated was that they were all up there, not just Scott. And it was cool to meet all of them. Anyway, I was like 20th, I said, or so in line. So I got a good idea of what it was going to be like when I got up there. And I had made friends with the people behind me. Shout out, I doubt they're watching this. I never even got their name either, but they were so cool. Shout out to you guys. You know who you are. And I get up there, and I've been debating what I was going to say, because when you do meet and greets like that, it's like I have a few seconds. What do I say? And so I go up there, and I told him myself, you have got me through some of the worst moments of my life. Thank you for that. And he seemed very appreciative and grateful for that, just very down to earth. And I told him that his videos make me strive to be a better YouTuber. The times that I do videos that are scripted and planned, I try to base them off of what he does, I guess. I don't try to, copy. Maybe a little, I guess, but I don't do a lot of videos like that. If I try to do something funny, he's the basis. He is the funniest person on YouTube, and I don't just say that to suck up. I genuinely love his content, and so if I kind of base that my stuff off of his, if I ever do anything like that. And he's like, wow, well, let me see, show me your channel. And I told him, I'm like, you wouldn't care. It's not your style of it. And he's like, no, I don't care. I love watching people's YouTube channels. And so I was awkward and I was nervous and shaking, and I pulled it up on my phone, and he pulled out his phone and typed it into Google Notes. And I don't expect him to ever see this or my channel. And if he does, that's just amazing. But I don't expect it. Even if he was just giving me a ruse, I appreciate him making me feel good in that moment. And we took a few pictures, and I looked awkward with my trophy, but that's fine. I shook everybody's hand, and he's just a very, very good person. At least from the minute I had with him. But I guess more than that. So after he did also tell me, he's like, I know, he asked for my name, and I told him, he's like, oh, I'm pretty sure you're in this tonight. I remember that name. So that got me excited. And so I went about my way, and I was on the front row. So I went into my seat and I watched everybody else. I got me a couple beers first. I watched everybody else interact with him. And the thing that I noticed was every person that came up there, he gave them their time. If they wanted it to be short and quick, that was fine. If they wanted to talk for a little bit, he gave them that. And if whatever they wanted him to hold, to take a picture with, the sign, he did, from what I could tell. And before everybody left, he always made sure to shake their hand. And even if they walked away, he tried to tap them on the shoulder and say, thank you, and shake their hand. And that's very, it's just cool. My wife told me before I left, she's like, I hope, he's nice. I hope he's everything that you want him to be. And he was that and more. So Scott, I doubt you're ever watching this, but if you are, just thank you for being an amazing person and an even better person than content creator. And that's saying something. So I'll get my gushing for Scott out of the way there. After that, it was just 2 hours of them going through the line. Now, the gates were supposed to open for normal seats at 6:30. They ran past that because there were so many VIPs. And like I said, Scott was giving everybody their time to, have with him. He seemed like he wanted every moment with that person to be what they wanted it to be. And that's amazing. And so you could tell the event people were like, come on, but it's still, at the end of the day, they gave everybody their time. So things were a little late. So once they finished that, he talked to us for a little bit. I will not be showing any of that because that was for us. And then they let everybody else in, and they played the pre-show video, and that started, like I said, 15 minutes late or so. And they showed fan art. They had some funny clips from just other things that they had made, and it was amazing with people reacting to the fan art and the clips. And it was, whenever I talk to people outside of YouTube that don't know who he is, I always have a hard time trying to explain it. I always say, he's a Nintendo YouTuber who's funny, but nobody knows. Being around 1,000 people that get it was really cool. Everybody got the jokes, and it was funny, and it was great, and it was awesome. So they played some song, some of his songs in the background, and people were waving their trophies in the air, and it was a good time. I enjoyed that, but Then there was a few technical issues, and it just kind of, then the crowd started chanting black screen and PowerPoint and stuff like that, and it was funny, but that stuff didn't bother me. I think some people it may have bothered, but for me, I didn't care. It's his first ever live show. Who cares? Like, there's gonna be problems, and I expect that. And they came out and tried to fix it a couple times, and it just didn't work. They were supposed to play a new episode for us, and that didn't happen, unfortunately. They got 5 minutes into it later. So anyway, after all that, he comes out on stage, and the award show started. I won't really get into the details, but it was essentially 2 hours of him going through the funny things that people sent in and making fun of us, making fun of him, all sorts of stuff. It was normal Scott the Woz humor, and I enjoyed it. It was a good time. There was a slight intermission, and they played some of the video, and then they came back, and then I got nominated for an award. I won't show it for spoiler reasons, but it was funny. And I didn't win, unfortunately. The winner was very deserving, so shout out to them, but it's fine. I was just happy to get my name mentioned. He remembered my name when he said it, so that was cool. And they threw out some t-shirts and stuff. Being in the front row, I never expected to get a t-shirt launched at me. I will say the one complaint I had with the venue was just the venue itself. They were little plasticky seats that you could move, and they were jam-packed together, so I was elbow to elbow like this, and I was just trying to be respectful to my people on each side and not spread out if I couldn't help it. So it was a little cramped. There were many times before the show when I just went and got up and sat to the side and watched from there, just so I could have some room and let everybody else have some room. But the show itself was great. I enjoyed it. I think some people, from what I've seen, thought it could have been more put together, less, they had a few things that probably could have been ironed out a little bit better, but it's his first time, and it's Scott. Like, it's part of the humor. It's part of the charm. It's fun. And they gave out, a bunch of rewards. Like I said, I won't talk about that. And played a couple games with some audience members. It was a good time. I have no problems with the actual show itself. And so at the end, they kind of were behind because everything was so late, and you could tell that the employees were wanting them to wrap it up. So they did, and they just kind of hurried through the rest of it and just started handing stuff out at the end. I think they meant to give away a lot more stuff, but they were running behind, and that's okay. It's if you're going to be upset about the first time them doing something and it being a little rushed, then that's normal. It happens. I'm sure if they do it again, it will be better. But I didn't have any real problems with that myself. Just the seats. But and they started handing stuff out, and that was it. And they said thank you, and everybody went about their way. So for me, I'm going to talk about some of the stuff they had. So I had the trophy, the Wozzies, and they didn't really have much merch. They had pictures or posters you could buy, signed or unsigned. I bought the signed poster. I will be hanging that up at some point. See, look, it's cool. So I got that, and I thought that was going to be it. And they started handing stuff out at the end, and just get rid of it, and they were throwing it. People were going crazy. And since I was front row, I really wasn't trying to barge into people. And they had books, they had shirts, the Borderline Forever script, and Clue games. And I got passed over for all of them. Justin was coming right at me with the book, and then he swerved me to the side. And I was like, oh, that's so disappointing. And then Scott came up with 2 Clue boxes, but they were in cardboard boxes, sealed. And he gave one to the guy next to me, and he gave one to me. I was so unsure when he handed it, because I thought maybe he was giving it to someone other than me, but I figured if I didn't take it, I wouldn't get it, so I grabbed it. And getting it from Scott himself is really special, even though he was kind of He was just like, oh, I gotta get rid of this stuff, and which made it funny. But it's very special that Scott gave this to me. So I opened up the box, and the first thing that happened was this fell out. Some of the Scott the Woz trading cards. That's cool. I never actually got any of these, so I'll have fun looking at those. And then I pulled out the Clue game, and boy, this is special. It is signed by everybody on the box, and then I believe that's Justin over to the side. He's not in the game. That's so sad. But that's so cool. I didn't expect this to be signed, so I will be holding on to that dearly and appreciating it, and it will not be on eBay. So, and then I went home, and some people stayed around and got pictures with him, I think, after when they left, but I'd already met him. But everybody was super nice. It was cool seeing all different types of people and interacting with them. There were so many different people that like Scott, and it was just cool seeing everybody and seeing just the different people that find him funny, and myself included, because like there was a question that referenced Ghostbusters during the trivia they were playing during the pre-show, and I got up and yelled, "Yeah, Ghostbusters, let's go!" and like everybody cheered behind me, and that was so funny. Oh man, it was enjoyable to be silly. But yeah, that was basically it. I had a great time. I have no regrets about any of it, and I love Scott. I love this. It's hard when you watch someone's channel, a podcast, a show, and they're real, and you listen to them talk and interact and have fun, and you think you're one of them, and then you meet them, and you're like, damn, I just want to be their friend so bad. That's what I got. Like, I found myself kind of sad after the fact that, damn, I just want to be Scott's friend. But that's how you know that you really care about the content that they're making, and because you feel like you're part of the group. So I had a great time. Thank you for everybody. If you've made it this far, if you're new and haven't seen any of my stuff before, maybe hit the like or subscribe button. I post mainly racing game content, so if that's not your thing, I totally get it. No big deal. You don't have to stick around, but I appreciate you watching and enjoying my takes on the Wozzies. So thank you for watching. I will see you next time. I gotta find my mouse. Goodbye, everybody.